and we can wrap up, Pete, and talk about Nottingham Forest. Now, of course, we saw some quite interesting statements following the game against Everton on Sunday. What did you make of those and their initial reaction to the decisions? Pete, Paul's already laughing.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to take Paul's take on it because he was at Goodison Park, so it probably filtered out while you were still there at the game. Paul, what was the reaction then?
Honestly, if you sat in the press box, you want to see the amount of chins that hit the floor. People were just amazed at what came out. I couldn't believe it. Gobsmacked, absolutely gobsmacked.
And Paul, was there any feeling during the game that they were going to release a statement? Was there a bit of a feeling at all, with Nuno that it was getting tenser? Actually, was it completely out of the blue?
Well, I think the statement was completely out of the blue, and you're not sure where it came from. You're obviously told through different sources as to the actual source of the statement, and whether it was the media team that put it out or whether they wanted to put it out or not. We'll never know where that's come from. But actually, to question the integrity of a referee in the way that the club did, there was a lot of surprised faces in the press box. Let's just say there was a lot of written journos that you could see pressing delete, erase, and rewriting what they'd done very quickly on their match reports.
Yeah, because it all changed. And Pete, going forwards in terms of sanctions, are we expecting them to be punished potentially? I mean, could they be punished for publishing something like that? What is the likely outcome of this whole scenario?
The funny thing is that the side of it is they're actually appealing to the Premier League to get some points back, and then they go and do that.
Yeah, I know.
Not doing themselves any favours whatsoever. The way they're behaving, and I think that's probably the bit. It was embarrassing, really. I think the statement very crass, ill-judged, but I'm sure it did come from the hierarchy. I'm sure the media team probably didn't want to put out that statement themselves, but I think it's come from the powers that be that they wanted to make it. There's even reports that Makranakis wanted to put it out at half-time during the game, which would have been even more outrageous, I think, if he had done that.
Imagine.
No, nothing would surprise me. Obviously, there's been a lot of situations in Greek football as well, so obviously they have a different way of thinking and how they do things and everything else. But like Paul said, you can't question the integrity of a referee. That's overstepping the mark, really, I think. And that
they basically called him a cheat, didn't they? They basically said, in not so many words, but almost directly, that it was a cheat.
Yeah, that he was helping Luton out and everything else, which is just madness. You can't do that. There's no conspiracy theory against Nottingham Forest or anybody else. It was just mistakes were made. Mistakes are made in every game, not just in the Premier League, but probably in the EFL and everything else. I had a bit of sympathy for Forest before the statement came out. I did feel they were hard done to with those penalty appeals against Everton last week. But yeah, my sympathy soon.
Three really good shouts they did. Yeah. 3 really good shouts for a penalty.
Yeah, on another day, all 3 probably might have been given. So I can understand their frustration, but the way they've gone about it's been totally wrong, and my sympathy soon has gone away for them right now. And it was a dangerous statement to make that type of thing and question the integrity of the referee. And obviously, the FA and the Premier League came out with their own statements on Monday, and I fully expect Forest to get a rap across the knuckles and probably a hefty fine. And it wasn't just the club, also Nuno, obviously, in his press conference was very angry and bullish about it, and then Nico Williams as well. So maybe all the club and those two be getting reprimanded, and maybe a touchline ban for Nuno and fines as well, I would imagine.
Paul, what did you make as well of Klattenburg doubling down and saying that Stuart Atwell is a Luton fan, effectively describing the whole situation as a joke? And do you think that just sort of adds to the comical element of this entire fiasco that went on?
I think one of the biggest jokes is his actual role at a football club. I mean, nobody knows what he's doing still. I mean, he's employed by a football club. What football club employs a referee to explain decisions? Or, I mean, if you don't know what the referee's decision is when you're a professional footballer or you're inside a football club, I mean, what is he doing there? Is he there to referee the 5-a-sides on a Thursday and Friday? Or is he, like, when there's a decision, they just stick him out in front of the cameras to try and explain it? We don't want to hear from him. We want to hear from the manager. We want to hear from the players. We don't want to hear from somebody that the club have employed, an ex-referee. I just don't understand his role at the club. I really don't.
And he does a column in a national newspaper as well, which isn't great. If he's got this role at Forest, I don't think he should be doing that column that he does in the papers as well, because it just leads to more issues as well. But obviously he's been feeding the information to the people at Forest as part of this advisory role that he's got. But again, I don't think he's done Forest any favours, because he's probably got the backs up of the PGMOL. So I think for Forest right now, they need to have everybody fighting for them right now as well. They've got the points deduction appeal going on, and this as well. It's just, it makes everything a bit toxic for me, and I don't think that's going to help their cause in trying to stay up.
There's an argument there with Klattenburg there that he's actually manipulating the system, because he's telling Forest and the players how to get around certain referees, or this referee will referee you this weekend in this style and that manner. It's better that we do this, this and this. I mean, I don't get it.
Pete, from Klattenburg's point of view as well. Sorry, go on, you say.
I think Mark Klattenburg should stick to Gladiators right now and maybe
Well, Pete, for his career at Forest, is it likely, do you think, that he going to face a potential ban as well? Could he face a fine? And we know that Forest, of course, have had the audio given to them privately, but it won't be released publicly. Do you think this whole situation should have been publicised in a different way, so that Forest should have gone to the Premier League and disclosed them the issues that they had, and then only afterwards it was reported, rather than immediately going through this whole process?
Yeah, if Forest have got questions to be asked, do it in private, don't do it in public for the whole world to see. I think that post that went out on X from the club had almost went viral, the way it went with so many views. That's just not a good look for the Premier League, so they won't be happy with that at all. Yeah, I can understand the frustration. Such a big game against Everton last week with both teams down fighting relegation. They had those penalty appeals rejected, but it was just a matter of the way they went about things. If they've got complaints and issues, go to the PGMOL, go to the Premier League, do it privately. Don't wash your dirty laundry in public was probably the best way to describe it, I think, and that's what Forest have been guilty of here, and I don't think many people have got sympathy for them right now.
Paul, from a relegation standpoint, what does the future hold for them in the Premier League? Can you see them staying up? And actually, when you were there on Sunday, do you think they do have a fight and a spirit about the team that you can see that could get them over the line? Or are you concerned they'll go down?
Yeah, they've got some good players. You know, Morgan Gibbs-White, he's excellent. He's outstanding. He was the difference in the first, that little bit of quality. Alanga, Hudson-Odoi, they've got pace. They've got good attacking quality. In Chris Wood, they've got a striker who's in form. And Murillo at the back, I think he's been outstanding this season. Really like him. They're a decent side. But, I mean, after Everton's win against Liverpool, you look now, they're 1 point clear of Luton. You would think, because of what's happened historically with the appeals, they are going to get some points back. But looking at the table this morning, it's going to be between Forest and Luton as to who joined Burnley and Sheffield United. But listen, don't rule Burnley out. They've had a decent run of it at the moment. They are 3 points behind Nottingham Forest. So let's say, for argument's sake, Forest get 1 point back of their appeal. Forest are then 2 points clear of Luton. And it's, for me, it's 2 of 3. Forest, Luton and Burnley. It's 2 of those 3 who go. But Forest are right in the mire.
You've just watched a segment from Football Insider's brand new podcast, The Inside Track, with me, Lewis Pearce, alongside the guests on the show. Thanks very much for tuning in. Please do give the video a like, comment your thoughts on the topic, and feel free to share on your social media pages. If you want to listen to the full podcast episode, click the link in the description below. Keep your eyes peeled for plenty more content and exclusives here on The Inside Track.